coaching staffs present athletic skills as acquirable. They value passion, effort, improvement, not simply natural talent. And as I said before, it's not a case of just recruiting players that are already talented, but you may be looking at coachable players. So those that are prepared to give 100%. Those that are prepared to put the effort in, because you can make the rest of the difference. When coaching staffs have a fixed mindset, their job is simply to find talent rather than trying to promote the talent. So again, at times, under 15s, under 17s, under 19s, we need to have a look. What's our focus? So athletes with a growth mindset know that they're going to make mistakes. They enjoy the challenge. They enjoy learning. You making training difficult for them and them succeeding at it. They tend to persevere with it. The fixed mindset, it's all about validating their talent. Often from quite young, they've been told how good they are. They don't want to disappoint people. So they stay within their comfort zone, trying to make sure that they don't disappoint, that they don't make those mistakes. That they tend to be, as I said, the dominant person. Their whole identity is often built around that role within that team and how they feel. So losing makes them feel less special. They make excuses. If I win, I'm a somebody. If I lose, I'm a nobody. Unfortunately, I'm sure we've all come across people that have got that particular attitude as far as the fixed mindset is concerned. So the fixed mindset coach think first and foremost about their own record and reputation. So if you lose, you're a reflection of me. So I'm worried about me at that point in time. When we lose and you start to talk about they did this or that you're not part of that. Fixed mindset coach will often be intolerant of mistakes. So again, they'll aim for a mistake-free game. And I would say if you're having a mistake-free game, then you're playing conservatively. And again, it's a case of reading the play, but being able to back yourself. So if something's on, go for it. Again, at the right time, and you're going to try to teach that as we go through with particular training practices. Fixed mindset coaches tend to motivate players through judgment. So when we go well, I'm really happy, I'm very positive, you guys get a pat on the back. When you go well, I don't want to know you, I might be critical, I could be sarcastic, not going to spend much time with you. A growth mindset coach asks for full commitment and effort. So every single practice, every single game, all I ask for is full commitment, full effort. I can't control what the opposition are doing. We can control the effort that we put in today. So we worry about the things that we can control. My feedback is going to reflect that. I give equal time and attention to all players. Now each player is going to know their role, so I'm going to have my starters and I'm going to have my bench players and I'm going to have different things, but as long as they know what their role is and their piece in the jigsaw puzzle and how important each of them are, and I continue to emphasise and give feedback as far as effort and commitment, regardless of who the player is, I'm going to get a lot of benefit. The aim is to become better every day, whether that's a coach or whether that's a player. So with that, and I've thrown a little bit at you at the moment, but it's what's your message is saying. What language do you use to your players? You may inadvertently do it. I know I've had to stop myself at times as far as the language that I use. And even with nieces, for example, rather than asking, did you win, what was the score, whatever, but asking more about effort. Often with players, regardless of age, we'll often ask them to set goals or targets for a particular game or a training session. Turn that around as far as an effort is concerned particularly as they're starting to learn skills and they're starting to develop, and they still should be able to give themselves 8s, 9s, 10s out of 10s, even if they haven't got the ability or the execution at the moment. So rather than asking, for example, if it's basketball, how many successful shots they had, you might ask as far as how many tackles or how many attempted shots did they have. Those sorts of things. So again, it's just turning things around. So how do you praise? Do we praise talent, which makes a player quite vulnerable? Or do we praise effort and commitment, which will tend to increase self-confidence? I think most of us know that if somebody's quite confident, they're more likely to be successful, particularly under pressure. So again, it's just something to think about. Were there any questions with that before I go on? Yeah?
A lot of it's to do with your, how you perceive your learning style as well, isn't it? Because that's what you're naturally going to gravitate to. So in your own learning style, that's probably what you're going to be teaching kids.
Yeah, I actually touch on that in a couple of slides, and it's interesting that certainly, as you said, that you will tend to coach to your given learning style, but the research will also say that the majority of players prefer not to learn verbally, but the most prominent learning style that we teach or coach is using verbal. So it's thinking about that and changing some of the things that we do. So rather than you telling all the time, it's getting them to do more in a lot of instances. Sometimes it will be visual, it will vary. But certainly you should know, and I'll touch on with this, but you should know each of your players' learning styles. I just wanted to give an example here. It's Pete Carroll, who is currently with the Seattle Seahawks. He was with the University of Southern California for quite a period of time. I thought I'd go with a non-rugby league example. Probably wouldn't get me into trouble, but there's a couple of things I want to highlight from this and thought that I'd share with you. The first thing, again, is for your particular program and your team, you need to have a system in place and you need to be really comfortable with that, and you need to be consistent with that. And that's going to be the foundation of how you coach. So again, at the bottom of our pyramid, he's put down his philosophy. And for a lot of people, when you ask coaches, they're not able to articulate what their philosophy really is. So trying to get it quite concisely. So for him, again, it's a case of do things better than they have ever been done before. It's all he asks. That's what he bases his whole coaching on. Do things better than they've ever been done before. And as part of that, they've incorporated 3 beliefs. And again, it's going to be relevant as far as the NFL is concerned. It's all about the ball. Everything counts. Respect everyone. So again, that's some of the beliefs that each of their staff and players need to adhere to. Their style, again, so it's all about great effort, enthusiasm, toughness. We play smart. Every single practice that they do comes back to that particular style and those beliefs. So it's a case of living and breathing those beliefs. Interestingly, Pete does use the term rules. A lot of high-performance coaches, and I know Michael mentioned it earlier, will tend to use the term standards. A lot of people will go rules, a bit too much like school. If we go with standards, there's a little bit more buy-in. This is where we need to be. Again, it's just a language, but it's got slightly different connotations. Always protect the team. No whining, complaining, or excuses, and be early. So that's the foundation of his particular program. The central theme is that it's all about competition. You compete every single day in everything. And it's an interesting one that I wanted to bring up because, again, a lot of people tend to stay away from competing because there tends to be some winners and some losers, particularly with young kids. Most will say again, we